What? Section 4, you have made it through the first part of accurate thinking. Now we're going to go on to part 2, and we're going to jump right into this thing. So we've talked about what this distorted thinking is. And remember, back up here. And now we're coming down to why. Why do we do this? What is the reasoning? There's reasons why it just doesn't happen. Part of it is it's a function of our brain. The other stuff, though, just makes it more. Here's what I have. We live in a country that is full of constant competition and constant comparison. I'm going to get mine. Who has the most stuff? You might get yours. I really don't care as long as I get mine. We're on the Instagram and the Snapchat comparing breakfast and where you on for vacation. And there's competition for grades. There's competition for who's getting into what school. There's competition just for who looks the good, most likes, blah, 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 all that stuff. And that contributes to why we have distorted thinking. All right. And what we need to do with that is stop competing amongst each other and simply compete with ourselves. Am I better today than I was yesterday? How am I treating? How many people did I help today? That's the competition. And the comparison part is what's a trip is like, look, here I am. I'm over here comparing myself to somebody else. So now let's say that I'm actually better than them now. Whatever you're trying to be better at, now you're better than them, but you've limited yourself to just being better than that person as opposed to finding whatever limit that you have, which is really none. You get what I'm saying? So that is ridiculous. The competition, the comparison thing is just whack, and it doesn't serve any purpose other than the systems win and you ultimately lose because you're basing all your life on just a bunch of junk. Secondly, we take in way too much information and most of it is negative. 24/7 internet access, applications, apps that are just like competing for our addictions, right? So that we're constantly checking them. We have too much information. So our brain's not like working right. It's just not because it's too much stuff. So I'm gonna teach you some skills as the class progresses on how to like really chill your brain out and this information overload can be reset. We've also lost the ability to handle life's disappointments in a healthy way. We're on some trip about that when difficulties happen, we just go automatically to anxiety. It's a habit, or depression, or like in a stressed state. Guess what? Stress is a normal part of life. Stress is actually, helpful when you use it in a way that pushes you to get things done or to do things properly. All right, that's the function of stress. What we've done is taken it to another level where I have a couple tests to do. Oh, I'm so stressed. Now we're focusing on the stress as opposed to what can you do to make the tests happen in a way that's going to be beneficial to you. So we've lost the ability to handle life's disappointments in a healthy way. And why? All of this is related to this bottom one. We do not work on self-development each day. We kind of watch a video here, or maybe there's an assembly there, or maybe a teacher will finally talk about it a little bit here, but we don't work on it every day. If you don't work out, you get weaker. If you don't work on a foreign language every day, you lose it. If you don't practice your math every day, you lose it. If you're a singer, if you don't practice singing every day, you lose it. An instrument, anything. If you don't practice it every day, you lose it. And it's the same for self-development, for mental wellness skills. If you don't practice it every day, you're not going to get better and you're not going to grow. Here's how we do accurate thinking. To go from distorted thinking to accurate thinking. I got this from GoZen.com. It's called the 3 C's. And the first one, though, that's actually not part of the 3 C's, but I've added another C, a fourth one. It's in the box with the stars. And like, look, I put the stars because it's super starry. It's super important. Change from using the word problems to challenges. If I come to you and say, hey, there's a challenge that I want you to take up. I want you to really go for it, right? You're going to look at it from a particular frame of mind. Like, it's a challenge. I can do a challenge. Yeah, I'm up to a challenge. Now I come to you with the same exact thing, but I'm like, hey, I got a problem for you. And you're like, nah, I already got enough problems. I don't need no more problems. So my point is, change all your problems to challenges and you will look at them super different. And when you look at stuff differently, you act differently. And that's a fact. So change your problems to challenges. Next, check for lies that you are believing. What are you believing about what you're saying to yourself through your head? What are you believing about what other people are saying about you? You have to learn to check. For me, when I catch myself thinking negative, I just like reevaluate, like, okay, why am I pissed? Why am I hurt? Why am I angry? Or why am I sad? Or you get what I'm saying? Or why did I let that person get to me? We have to check for the lies that we're believing. Next, we have to put the work in. Remember I said it's hard gathering facts. It's work. We like to make up stories. Oh my God, we like to make up stories. All right. But we need to look for the facts. We need to ask people questions, or we need to sit down and write it down. Like, look, when you write stuff down and read it, it looks way different than it's running through your head. So Brene Brown calls it a first draft. She adds an expletive. I'm trying not to curse. So she calls it a first draft, and you write it down like it's your crazy way of thinking about a situation, like your inaccurate, your distorted way of thinking about a situation. You write it down and read it. You're like, whoa, that's crazy. No, that's not true. But when you just let it run through your brain, you don't catch it so easily. So write stuff down, and then challenge that original story, the lie, like for real. Like, no, that's not, that's not what's really happening. They didn't look at me that way because they hate me. Or my parents really do love me. You know, we just had a bad moment and we need to talk. That's what you do. And as William James said, the greatest weapon against stress or anxiety or depression is our ability to choose one thought over another. We really get stuck in our own thoughts. And it's a form of being like selfish. It's not like gimme selfish like that. It's more, I can't see outside of my situation that, you know, people do want to help me, that there are good things in my life, that I do have a lot of positive things in my life. Or I have one positive thing. You feel me? So we have to get ourselves together individually and teach ourselves the accurate thinking, and then we have to teach each other. All right. And that's how we move from distorted thinking and a bunch of negative thinking to accurate thinking. I have negative thoughts. You're always going to have negative thoughts. It's just what's part of the deal. All right. So now that I know that that's a part of the deal, I need to get strong and swole on what's going to help me like dispute those inaccurate and distorted ways of thinking. Here's a trick that I use with a lot of students, and I use it with myself. Who likes going to the movies? I love going to the movies. I just don't get to go very often. I got 3 little kids. It's not easy getting a babysitter, so we don't go a lot. But when we go, you know, you're there, you're watching the movie. Do you ever do this? Like almost yell at at the screen, like, what are you doing to the characters, right? Like, what are you doing? That's ridiculous. You can't go with that person, or you can't turn down that street, or like whatever the thing that's going on. So my proposal to you is particularly difficult situation or just any situation. Put it up on the screen like it's not your life, but it is your situation that you're going through, but it's not you in that particular movie. It's actors. And now you're detached from it. Now you can look at it like, wait, what? What would you tell them if they were doing what you're doing? to yourself. You wouldn't live like that. You wouldn't want no one doing that in a movie, so don't do it in your real life. And then lastly, for this section, I put this together on just the amazing amount of worry that we do and how it becomes a habit. All right? Worry is a habit. You're not a worrier, as Mel Robbins says. You're not a worrier, just you have a habit of worrying. All right? And then when our habit of worrying like spins and spins and spins, that becomes anxiety and a panic attack. Right? That's where that comes from. So here's a little matrix for you to look at. And I'm going to start going towards the yes side. Do you have a problem? Yes. Can you do anything to solve it? No. Then let it go. It's not your job. It's out of your control. Learn how that you don't have control over everything. You have control over your attitude, your actions, your way of thinking, your actions. That's what you have control over. You can't control everything else. So you can't solve it? Don't worry. Now, do you have a problem? Yes. Can you do anything to solve it? Yes. Well then, solve it. But what happens is it takes work to solve a problem. So now we kind of put it off. And now that we've put it off, now it's become a bigger problem. And now we really feel like we can't solve it. So now I start worrying. Worrying has never solved any problem. It's never done anything at all. It just never has. We need to put that worry into action. We need to put how we can solve it into action and as fast as possible. All right. And I have issues with all this stuff. I'm not like coming at you like, oh, I got it all figured out. I haven't figured out. It's just, it takes work to do it. Now, here's the third one and a super big one. Do you have a problem? No. But you're going to find something to worry about. We are the only species that can figure out something to worry about. And it's not even anything to worry about. So when you do that, then you really got to go to the basics. And the basics and the fundamentals are how you do anything is how you do everything. So you put your effort into stuff. You put your effort into learning this accurate thinking. You write it down. You dispute it. It's like not for real. Okay. And then you move on to the next task. All right. You're moving forward. You're not stepping back. You're moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. You did good on this section. That was a lot.